to see the contrast. We have two internal candidates here from town, two external candidates. As a guy that's coming from hundreds of miles away, you've had to make a little bit of a crash course to learn about Fort Myers. What stood out about this area across the last couple of weeks? Or really just the last few days, I guess.
Well, I think what stood out to me is first and foremost is why am I here, right? Why Fort Myers? I vacation in Southwest Florida a couple times a year. I love Southwest Florida. I come to Fort Myers, not always here to vacation, but to other places south of here. And I just love this area. I love the state of Florida. I used to live in Tampa many years ago. So when I vacation, it's generally south of Tampa along the Gulf Coast. So as far as what I've seen here in Fort Myers, you got a great eclectic Art Deco downtown. Took a nice run through the area, visited some of the shops, talked to a bunch of the shop owners, and talked to a couple of the wait staff at some of the local eateries. It's just an amazing little city, and I say little, it's a ever-growing exponentially city, and I think that's an opportunity for a new chief to come in and see where he can take the department as this city grows, as the mayor said, when they're growing like crazy bounds here in the city of Fort Myers.
Yeah.
And then to see some of the devastation you guys suffered after Hurricane Ian. I've been through hurricanes, tornadoes, flooding events, so that experience that I have from the city that I come from in Virginia Beach is similar in nature to what is Fort Myers, and it's a coastal community.
You clearly, the interviews have been paying off, because that was going to be my next question, is you were the only candidate. You know, we have these internal candidates, but you're the only external candidate that does have that direct disaster experience. I'm curious, how do you think that could help you as the chief of the Fort Myers Police Department?
Well, it's important to know emergency management. A few hurricanes ago, when I was a captain at the time, I went through it. I watched officers walking through flooded streets with a radio in one hand and a handgun in the other, going to a domestic where a guy is trying to stab a woman with a sword. And they're wading chest deep in water to try and save this woman. And to see that and is just an inspiration to law enforcement in general, to see the dedication and the loyalty to service to community. And bringing that here is just making sure that our emergency management team is a holistic, whole of government approach to everything that we do, not just law enforcement, but how we operate the city. We need to take a holistic, whole of government approach to problem solving.
You mentioned it, this area's population has exploded over the last few years specifically. You're from an area where you do police a larger population than we currently have. How do you feel like that might give you an advantage?
I think, you're seeing from a bigger city perspective. Don't get me wrong, I'll take if I'm not your guy, I'll take key takeaways from what I've learned here at Fort Myers and how their department operates back home. And I think it's important as a major city. We get a lot of major city exposure, so we get to see a lot of different aspects of how law enforcement's applied throughout the nation, and then learning not only through our FBI National Academy or our Senior Management Institute for Policing, but learning through the Major City Chiefs Association, the best practices in law enforcement. And that opportunity to take that to a growing community is important.
I'm curious whether it's something that you've identified FMPD does well, or whether it's something that you might have done differently that you want to bring to the area. What would the top one or two items at the top of your to-do list be if you do get the job?
I think one of the things that Chief Diggs put into place was the youth services, that all the opportunities out there for engaging with our youth. One of the things I might do, and I'll talk with the city manager about as far as that, would be to consolidate all of our youth services. I think I briefed on that in here, is consolidate the youth services under one group, ensuring that we don't drop a youth off out of our line of sight unintentionally, because they're in silos, different silos in the organization.
What would you like a viewer or a member of the public to know if they could know one thing about you? What would it be?
I think it'd be just my service to my community and my country. I've served Virginia Beach for 26 years. I'm looking to continue a long-standing service in law enforcement here in Fort Myers, and then continue my service as able in the United States Navy.